So it says then, express x squared minus 5x plus 8 in the form, right? So we're completing the square again, yeah, in part 1 here. So that's quite a nice one to do. However, you've got to be careful here because, of course, when I do bracket and start off with x and square it, we need to halve this to make. So we've got a half 5. Now half of 5 is 2.5, isn't it? But I prefer you to write it as a fraction, right? It makes more sense to write it as that. So half of 5 is 5 over 2, isn't it? 5 halves. But then, remember that you always take away the square of this. When we square this, it's really easy to square fractions. Square the top, square the bottom, so 25 over 4. And then add the 8 then on the end, right? So this will become x minus 5 over 2 all squared. And then if I work that out, I get plus 7 over 4. Okay, you use your calculator on that, of course. And that's what it comes to. So it says then, part 2, deduce the greatest value of this here. Okay, they want the greatest value. Well, if we actually go back to part 1 for a minute, I hope you appreciate here that this is the least value. Okay, we could say, look, the least value here, okay, of part A of this, yeah, of where it's x squared minus 5x plus 8, the least value is 7 over 4, yeah? Okay, that's the least value, of course, when this bracket is 0, okay? It's lowest when this bracket is 0, and that bracket is 0, and x, of course, will be 5 over 2. Okay, so that would make it 0. Now, you could draw that, couldn't we? We could actually draw that. X is 5 over 2, and the minimum is 7 over 4, okay? So it'll be roughly there, won't it? Okay, so x is 5 over 2, y is 7 over 4, the minimum. If we look then at part 2, okay, part 2, they want us then to deduce the greatest value of this. Okay, but what I want you to appreciate is that minus x squared plus 5x minus 8 is simply minus of the quadratic in part A. Okay. Right, it's just changed all the signs, isn't it? It's minus it. And if you're going to minus it, effectively you're minusing all the y values. Okay, so all these y values we've got here, okay, all the y values we've got here, we just make them minus. Okay, so in this case here, if it's 7 over 4, it comes minus 7 over 4. And what we get is, in terms of the graph, is that it flips. Okay, it reflects in the x-axis at 5 over 2. So you get a reflection there in the x-axis. So actually then the greatest would be minus 7 over 4. Okay, that's the greatest it will be. Of course, it still occurs when x is 5 over 2.